Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Oh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Chinook Ceadery. This is episode 544. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
Casey, how are we, dog?
Quick update on the MVP 05 Dynasty.
We might have to call us dead. We might have to end this segment if you don't get a freaking dub soon.
Have yet to get a win. I believe we're 0-10 now, I believe. Nolan Ryan crapped his pants yet again, so I said, "You're out of here." Shipped him out. Got him got Pujols in a trade, and I shipped out somebody else, and I got Mickey Mantle. I don't remember who I traded. I was trading in a blind rage. I was just mashing proposed trade. I don't remember who was involved. All I know is our team is like, I think our dynasty has like 100,000 in the bank to work with. So
yeah, just emptying it out.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say. I don't know how to advise you at this point. Can you change the settings, or
I can, but I don't. I'm not gonna do that.
Where do we draw the line?
We're going to talk about integrity on this show, and
0-20?
I don't whatever it takes to ensure that I don't finish with the worst record in Major League history. I'm essentially chasing the Rockies right now, is what I'm doing. As I mentioned, that's what I'm doing. So just giving you a little quick update there. Not good news to write home about.
I don't think we need to check back in until the dub happens.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I can agree to that. I'll agree to that.
It's a non-story until, and I'm going to be concerned if it's not before our trip.
I agree to that.
Yeah.
You will not hear from me about my MVP team, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, featuring ace Bob Gibson.
Good.
Until we get a win.
Good.
0-10. You want to talk some ball?
Sure. Why not?
Let's talk some ball. Let's start with a little juicy topic off the top. And I mentioned integrity. Integrity is going to be a vital role to this segment. And I don't think even you have any idea as to what I'm referring to. But let's talk this Jazz Chisholm thing. Nate, I gotta be honest with you. I'm at a point now where I can safely say I'm out. I'm out on Jazz. I tried. I really did. I really tried.
When were you ever close to being in?
Pre-Yankees days, obviously. Like I tried to make an effort. I did. But I'm officially out. Whether he stays with the Yankees, he signs an extension, and I don't even know that the Yankees would offer him an extension, but if they did and he decides to stay there, I'm still out. If he goes to another team, I'm still out. I can't do it anymore. I can't deal with the theatrics. I can't deal with the over-the-top showmanship. And bringing it back to the integrity point, this is what I have to say. Not that he would ever hear any of this anyway, but if for whatever reason caught wind of me announcing the fact that I'm kind of out on him, I don't want to be subjected to screenshots because I know that's the kind of guy Jazz Chisholm is. If he's got receipts, and if you come at him, is very like Marcus Stroman-esque in that way.
No, he's not.
Yeah, no, he keeps receipts. You know he keeps receipts.
No one's like Marcus Stroman on that way.
Yeah, hey, you know what?
No one's in that camp. That's a 101.
That's on me. I'll take that. Sorry, I was getting a little ahead of myself. But I just wanted to get out in front of this because I want to be free and clear to say this, and I need to get this out of the way. Okay, so yes. For those that don't know, years ago, we did like outside of the merch that we just have, like we have now, like years ago, we sort of dabbled in like the team specific stuff. Did I say free and queer? No, I said free and clear. Thanks. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, we did the merch. We did like team specific stuff. And so one of the things that we did, Major League quote. Okay, I get the reference now. I was wondering if I actually said it. I'll get to my point eventually. So we did team specific stuff, and at the time, Jazz was ready. Stop with the putting your head in your hand. I'm getting there. We did one specific for Jazz, and it was very simple. It was Miami themed colors, the Miami Vice theme. It just said, "You like Jazz?" And so I put it out on the shop. Did pretty well. I sent it. I messaged Jazz, and I said, actually, let me just pull it up because I want to misspeak here. I said, "Hey, man, this was April 17th, 2021. I said, "Hey, man, can we send you a shirt?" He said, "Send it to the stadium." I said, "I got you." He said, "What size you need?" Out of respect to him, I'll refrain from sharing what size he requested.
I'm going to say medium. Yeah. I'm going to guess medium.
I said, "Good deal, man. Appreciate it. Keep it up." And I sent him a message in May. I said, "If anyone wants to know where they can get the shirt, just point them to us." Haha, laughing emoji. Appreciate you, man. July that year, 2021, I said, "Hey, Jazz, let me know if you've got 30 minutes to hop on the pod, if you've got any downtime during your IL stint. We'd love to have you on, and I know our listeners would love to hear from you." Didn't hear anything. Followed up in August.
It's just normal.
I'll follow it up in August.
A lot of players do this to us, so I feel like this
not a lot. There's a few that I'm not gonna name names. I'm only doing this because it's Jazz. But outside of Jazz, there's only been a few. Truly. To the point where I've like made initial contact. There's guys all the time will just not even respond. But Jazz like had responded to me in August. I said, "Jazz, when are you coming on the pod, man? Our listeners want you on." Laughing emoji. And that was it. So again, if this ever caught wind of like, oh, like the guy who wanted me on the podcast years ago is coming after me, I just want to get that out in the open. So now I can say that. This whole tag thing. Don't tell me that. Well, first of all, don't tell me that you're okay with this response, dude. Come on, this was well over the top.
I'll get to my thoughts. I mean,
okay. Well, I've talked long enough. We can come back. Interject with your thoughts. What do you got?
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it goes back to last year, and that's what the whole, Maikel Garcia stuff has come to, and there's been a few different collisions. Obviously, one of those being like a benches clearing incident. I can see where like Maikel Garcia probably would have gotten upset with like the Volpe tag last year. But as far as like this Jazz one, I don't know. I mean, it like the helmet comes off. It's a bang bang play. Like I don't think you really like in the moment fully can see what's going on. If your helmet is like over your eyes, like you don't know if that's a knee, you don't know if it's like a tag, it's just like it happens so fast. So I think he probably just misinterpreted what occurred. And then those were his comments. So like I don't know if he got a chance, has like since gotten a chance to like review and like actually look at the replay and be like, oh yeah, like this was clearly like incidental.
And but that's to my point. Do you think Jazz is going to be the kind of guy that comes out and is like, "Hey, that's my bad. That's my bad. Let's keep playing ball."
I think if it was anyone else except Maikel Garcia, then yes. But the fact that it is Maikel Garcia, and the fact that there has been a little bit of history, and one of those being in the ALDS, like maybe that's where this is coming from. I think if it was anyone else on the field that was wearing a Royals uniform, this would have been fine. I don't know. I feel like this, I don't even know why it's being talked about this much. Like I watched it live.
Well, it was the response, man. Like it's so unnecessary. It's so like fake tough guy. He gets up and for some reason starts talking to the third base coach. What's his face? Rojas,
Luis
right?
Rojas.
Yeah, he's talking to him. He looks at him and he's like, "I'm going to tell you one more time," as if like this was a continuation of a conversation they were having in the dugout or something. I don't know. It was a weird thing to say. I'm gonna tell you one more time. If he slaps me like that again, I'm gonna slap the F out of him. I'm like, what a cornball thing to say. And it's just, this isn't like an isolated event. And I think that's why it's getting talked about, is because Jazz has moments like this where like the whole free smoke thing the other day that he put on his story. Mm-hmm. And then I think like he's had moments like this where it's the fake tough guy thing. And then he'll proceed to go like 0 for 4. Mm-hmm. Or he'll go on a run where he goes like 2 for 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
To your point, it happened so fast that for Maikel Garcia to slap him that hard, that would imply that Jazz Chisholm was slow enough to the point where Maikel Garcia had enough time to receive the ball, lift the glove up to create force of momentum, and drop it down on his head.
That's what I'm saying. Like as a base runner, you don't see that stuff. So like I think you slide in and your helmet comes off and you know it wasn't you jarring your helmet loose. Like I don't think you saw what happened. I mean, you're not seeing any of that in a split second. So I think it was probably like a is disposition the word? That like you feel like, hey, I know I'm going to steal this bag if there is another occurrence with him. Like, you know what I mean? Like I wonder if there was just like a you know what I'm saying? Like he had in his head. I don't know. I don't even care. The Royals don't mean anything to me as far as like competition goes. Like I don't see any of this actually holding water. Seems all very manufactured. It seemed manufactured when Maikel Garcia was starting stuff initially. And then it's kind of like started turning into more and more any play that involves them.
Right, but I guess
just made an insane double play to get out of bases loaded jam. So props to that.
I guess my point though is you talk about manufacturing. Like since that dust up between Maikel Garcia and Jazz Chisholm last time, how many times have you heard from Maikel Garcia? How many times has Maikel Garcia made the news for things like that? We're on the flip side.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's not really any
on the flip side. Where how many times have we heard about Jazz saying something stupid, posting something stupid, running his mouth?
I hear you. I don't think he's. It is what it is. I don't know. Like I'm with you. I'm not gonna sit here and like defend Jazz Chisholm. Like I'm not. I tell you all the time that like he's gonna end the year with 22 home runs and a 735 OPS, and it's gonna be like thanks for your service. Like he's gonna make an occasional big play defensively. I don't think it's worth the antics, but like at the same time, I don't know. It is what it is. It doesn't mean as much to Yankee fans as it means to the rest of baseball fans, I guess. Like we don't really notice, and he hasn't really earned his pinstripes in a way for us to just be like, oh, that's our guy. I'll die for him. You know? He's a tweener.
in the chat. His name is Jazz. We're always going to hear about him. That's a funny point. Like, what if his name was Bartholomew Chisholm? Like, do we think that this is being talked about?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Unless if he goes by Bart, for sure not.
If he goes by Bart, he's probably not even in the league. If we're being
right,
I mean, if we're telling the truth
here. Is there a Bart in the league? Not now.
Let's see. Bartolo doesn't count.
No.
Bartolome.
If Bartolo doesn't count, Bartolome definitely doesn't.
Bart Johnson, 1969 to 1977.
Perfect.
Bart Shirley, 1964 to 1968. Now, last thing I'll say is, and I've said this to you before, like I hate the Yankees. I hate everything about the Yankees. I hate what they represent. I hate what they stand for. I hate their stupid ballpark. It's not even a real Yankee Stadium. Stop trying to tell me you've been there for like 100 plus years. You haven't. Stupid. You're just everything about it sucks. But at the very least, there's a standard there. And I said this to you the other day. I said, I just need Jazz to play for another team because I feel like I'm not saying he's solely responsible for it, but he's with some of his actions, the things he posts, the things he like just running his mouth. It's like very anti Aaron Judge, where it's like Aaron Judge very clearly upholds the Yankee way, the Yankee standard, whatever you want to call it. And then I feel like Jazz just actively erodes it. And again, I hate the Yankees, but I just feel like he's actively working against what the team has built up and tries to continue to uphold. That's all.
I suppose. I mean, Deion Sanders played for this team. Reggie Jackson was in the news for altercations all the time. So I mean, it's just like I don't think that the Yankees are like immune to having these types of players. I think it's just been a little while. But it is what it is. Now, to be fair, like you kind of just, if there's success, you just kind of accept it and wear it.
I mean, Reggie Jackson popped off from time to time. But that's Reggie Jackson. We're talking about Jazz Chisholm.
I hear you.
Let's not get too deep into the numbers there, because you might be surprised at what you find.
No, I mean, I'm just saying that, like, it's not the first and last time we're gonna look at an athlete and be like, I don't admire the way you go about things. Like, it's the way of sports. I don't know. I'm less invested in it, and I definitely don't even really care about this Maikel Garcia stuff. It does nothing for me. I don't think it is bulletin board material worthy at all.
Jazz might disagree. Speaking of bulletin board material, I don't know what was on Juan Soto's bulletin board, but something seems to be working. Looks like the former Bronx Bomber himself is back to form. Since start of the month, coming into today, Wednesday, he's hitting .367 with 3 homers, 6 ribbies, and a 1291 OPS across 9 games during that span. He's got an on-base streak that dates back to May 28th. And I've also seen, you would know better than I, but it appears as though the Soto Shuffle is back. Is that correct?
I did see that. It was weird that it just was gone for a while.
I mean, I think the Soto Shuffle directly correlates to his confidence. Like when he's feeling himself, he's Soto shuffling to the box, like before his at bat even starts. And you know he's going to do it every pitch. But when there was a stretch there where I don't think he was quite right in the head from a mechanical standpoint. Like mentally, as an elite hitter, he just wasn't. I'm not saying like mentally, but I'm saying just like confidence-wise as a hitter, he just was not himself. And I think that's where we saw it disappear. But Checking in on some Savant numbers.
Love me some Savant.
Leads all of baseball in chase rate. Leads all of baseball in walk rate. His barrel rate is back above his career average. His launch angle sweet spot rate is back over his career average. His top 5 overall of expected outcomes. Shout out to ex-Woba. And shout out to Mets Analytics for doing some deep diving. I don't know. I guess this is bad news for the rest of the league.
I did see that clip of yesterday, just staring down Mackenzie Gore. Talk about manufactured. I mean, I think I get
I've
that there's
said
a trade
too.
package that he was included in, but like I don't. It's just
Like, you also wanted out, so like don't act like you were disrespected by like being
right.
shipped out of town.
Right, exactly. Like I don't know. I'm out on Juan Soto for sure. And I was thinking about that the other day where I was like, that's what these contracts do. These massive contracts, especially like record contracts, they make you pick a side. You can no longer be indifferent about them. Like, you either hate them or love them. That's the only way it goes.
Great point.
There's no other, like, you have to be. I'm just, yeah.
Is there another?
Like,
That's an interesting point. I hadn't really
like, think
considered
of
that.
them before that contract, and then when the contract hits.
Is there another guy or two that you can think of where this is applied to?
I mean, like, I went back to like the obvious time of like A-Rod, like pre-Yankees. You know what I mean? Like pre-Yankees, no one really disliked A-Rod.
Yeah, well, I mean, going to the Yankees carries its own level of, you know, it has it adds another layer to it, but
yeah, Stanton, kind of the same thing. Like, I don't know if people necessarily hate him. Again, it's a Yankee, but like
outside of New York,
like you can
outside
name
of
a
New
lot
York, maybe. I mean, it sounds like we're just talking Yankee after Yankee after Yankee.
I mean, it's a lot of the big contracts. I don't know.
Machado, well,
Machado,
not a great example either, because that's, I mean, Machado had his own.
Tatis kind of had his own PED stuff. Like,
is there anybody that's received a contract that's either not like a
to be a
borderline
mega contract,
dirtbag or
It
like a
can't-
guy that's been busted that we can apply this to?
it can't be like middle of the road. I'm saying like big enough contract that like that is the talking point for the rest of the offseason, no matter what other contracts happen. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
I mean, Harper, but again, not a great example because people didn't like him anyway. It wasn't like people were kind of like on the fence about him.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, like maybe we were a little too close to Bryce Harper when he was a national and like as he was coming up. Like maybe there were people, like think about it. When he was coming up, how old were we?
17? I mean, when he was
17?
on Sports Illustrated, yeah, we were in high school.
Yeah. So like if you were to ask a 30-year-old back then how they felt about Bryce Harper, they'd be like, oh, I'm excited to see what this kid is. Like, I think true baseball fans, like we look at, you know, a Jack Caglione and like, no matter what, you're like, yeah, this kid's exciting. You know, like I want to see him succeed. And then if all of a sudden, fast forward 5-6 years down the road, and he's ruined a couple other teams and he's walked it off on a couple of your favorite relievers and he signs a massive $300+ million contract, you're like, maybe I kind of hate this kid. I don't know. So I think there's certain guys that just kind of have that.
Well, even with him, we talked about when he got called up, we were talking about how there's already hints, maybe hints
Like
is a little too
swagger,
subtle. Like,
confidence.
Yeah. Like that
But
could develop, could blossom.
I think it just depends on like the antics and like what you're always going to have these guys that are just a Juan Soto-esque of like, I don't care if you like me. In fact, I prefer if you hate me because I know that it's working. You know what I mean? Just certain guys like that. Terrell Owens was like awesome when he was a 49er. And then he goes to Philly and like everyone's like, screw this guy. You know what I mean? Like you could do this across sports. You could do this with anybody. LeBron, everyone loved LeBron the first time in Cleveland. You go to Miami, I hate you. You're a jerk, right? Like it's just, you have these guys that like, as the second you see the ego tie into you being the best and you having the most money, a lot of people are out. But this is what Juan Soto is. It's no new. It's not a secret. This isn't new, right? Like it just is what it is. I think it's just a little bit of a different view because everyone looked at him as a Yankee and was like preparing to hate him for the rest of his career because it looked like he was going to be a Yankee. He looked good as a Yankee. And then now it's like this weird, like, oh, you slided the Yankees. We kind of like that you slided the Yankees. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think by this time next year, 1 year from now, majority of baseball fans will be like, this guy kind of sucks. I don't know. I just don't like him, you know? And then he's like officially a Met and then I don't know. Maybe there is some later chapter that he gets to. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's some Bryce Harper threshold that he reaches where you're like, you're just calm. You don't have a high heartbeat at all. You don't stare anybody down. You're just super confident. Lance Berkman, Jacob. Is there anybody in the world that dislikes Lance Berkman? That guy is just what? Ego. I don't remember an ego on Lance Berkman at all. I don't remember.
I mean, I remember like a little bit of like rough around the edges, but I mean, I don't know enough to warrant.
It's
I mean,
tough.
maybe
That's
to
what
a
I'm
lesser
saying.
degree, but I don't know if that's an example that fits into this
contract.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It's got to be like the superstar of superstars,
right?
And that's just, it's where he is. So like I don't it's probably a perfect cocktail of like I'm kind of jealous visibility and his money, and I'm jealous that he gets to stare people down before hitting a tank and then gets to stare them down again. You know what I mean? Like this is what I said a few episodes ago though. I was like, dude, get the confidence back and just be the villain. Like truly be the villain. You've been riding that fence throughout your career of like, I don't know if I want to be loved. I don't know if I want to be hated. I kind of do things that make me be, you know, that make me feel hated. Like, just do it all the way. Be hated.
Especially for a best in the National League New York Mets team that is desperate for some of that energy, I would have to imagine.
I think it's here. I mean, look out. I would... Safe to say he's back, and this isn't like he's not a up and down fluky hitter like that. We could probably fast forward to the end of the year and be like, hey, if you take out April,
yeah,
and half of May, dude's hitting 380. You know what I mean? Like it's probably going to be one of those types of.
You take out like half the season. This guy was on a Hall of Fame trajectory this year. No, I get what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to fluctuate much beyond what we've already seen to this point. I think we're getting good old regular Juan Soto back at this point. Speaking of Soto, his former club, the San Diego Padres, dropped their first series against the Dodgers today. Dodgers take 2 of 3. The game that the Padres do win, a score of 11-1, which was crazy in and of itself. But this was the first matchup between the two teams since the postseason matchup that everybody was talking about last October. But yeah, that middle game, crazy, dude. You got Dylan Cease giving you just twirling a gem, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 11 Ks. And then on the flip side of the ball, you got Matt Sauer, who was essentially left out there to die.
Sure.
Lou Trevino starts the game, gives you an inning, essentially of perfect ball, and then old Doc Roberts rolls out Matt Sauer, who proceeds to throw 4 2/3, giving up 13 hits, 9 runs, 3 walks, and a homer across 111 pitches.
No, that's a true hero.
That is okay. I'm glad you said that
That's a
because
true hero.
there's so many people, and I listened to the clip from Dave Roberts. I guess it was pregame today before the series finale, and they were asking him, and they were like, "Dave, what do you have to say?" And credit to whoever it was that asked the question. He's like, "I get it. I'm sure most of the rest of us here understand why you did what you did." But he said, "Can you explain to the fans why?" Or how you can justify rolling him out there for as long as he did and allowing what happened to happen. And Dave Roberts just looked exhausted, as if he doesn't have like a juggernaut of a baseball team, but he looked exhausted and was like, I don't want to waste my energy trying to explain this to the fans. He said, he's a big boy. He said, I'm paraphrasing, but it was essentially like, we were all on the same page as to what needed to happen. He said, we're trying to win as many baseball games as you can. Yeah. And when you're down, like,
you kind of have to punt, man.
You get to a point where it's like, okay, this isn't worth blowing the rest of our bullpen for a pretty, it's June, but a pretty important series. So yeah, we're going to punt this. And by the way, we're going to close the game with Kike on the bump yet again.
Who has officially given up his first earned run, by the way.
I
gave up a tater to Manny.
Didn't.
2 guys on that weren't his, but did give up the tater on like a 57 mile an hour pitch. It was wild. Shame
on him for not being able to clean up Sauer's mess. That's weak.
Threw 2 1/3.
Kike. Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, is Kike going to be eligible as a pitcher in fantasy?
It's possible. It might be something to consider.
He's what? 1 away, 2 away? I think you got to make 5 appearances.
You can't keep him. You got to keep him in the pitching spot the whole time. Like, what do you? You can't. You never know when the game is going to get out of hand. It's like you can't slide him.
Yeah, do you hear what I'm saying? We're talking about Kike Hernandez. I'm not like actually considering trying to like add him as an asset.
I'll throw anything out there at the moment.
That's
I
think
I've lost 4 straight weeks, so
tough break for you. But no, more of just the novelty of it. I would love to see him become eligible as pitcher. Yeah, but the takeaway for me with this series was that the Dodgers were able to take a series against you with little to no starting pitching.
Correct. And what were the? I'm sorry. You may have already said it, but we had Cease. Who were the starters on?
Pavetta went game 1. Who's been like okay for you, but he just wasn't sharp this game. So
But this is what you've said. Like you've said, this is what Nick Pivetta is. Like
he goes on runs.
Yeah. And then he goes
and when he's
slides.
on.
Yeah.
And then he'll go on slides. And this is what happens.
I think Dustin May, right? I think that was
Dustin May, and then Dodgers had quote unquote bullpen game. And then I don't remember who they rolled out there today.
The Dodgers?
Yeah.
It
was
full on.
What's his face?
Kasperius.
Yeah. They rolled him out.
Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah. Full blown bullpen game again. So the Dodgers are able to take a series from you with little to no starting pitching, as I said.
They used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 arms today.
And did you also see that? Which I have my own thoughts, but what opinion? Like, what does my opinion matter to Dodgers or Padres or Giants fans? But did you see the line where Max Muncy said, "For me, your rival is just one team. You don't have multiple teams as your rival," citing the Giants as the true rival of the Dodgers. What are we thinking there?
I think he's still trying to hold on to go get it out of the ocean. I think that's what he's trying to hold on to.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
dead. That
and even
rivalry's been dead. Even if the division somehow ends up with the Giants over the Padres and it's a tight race at the end, like I still don't think it's as hot as this rivalry. And like, shame on you, Max Muncy, dude. Like, this is arguably the best rivalry that we have.
that's what
in
I'm
baseball
saying.
right now.
Latch
Like,
on to
come
this.
Annoying. Whatever.
Ridiculous. Last note on the Dodgers here. An update on Shohei to the bump. Sounds like there's a good chance that he would end up back on the mound as early as July, as opposed to August.
July's not far.
Which was originally planned. And I think I also read, yes, there's a quote, north of 0 chance, which is just a weird way of saying there's a chance that Ohtani joins
Who
the
said
team's.
that?
Dave Roberts said that there's a north of 0 chance that he joins the team's rotation before the break.
Okay. I don't know what to do with that. What a stupid way of saying that. Slight is that what he means? There's a slight chance.
Yes. North of 0, meaning like slightly above 0.
It's stupid. It was a stupid way of saying that. That aggravates me, and I don't know why. I don't. Cool. They don't. It's hard to care. I hate this team. I hate them. It's hard for me to care. It's hard for me to get excited.
Fair enough.
For us to get absolutely buried with notifications and updates the second he returns to the mound. I'm not mentally strong enough for it. I'm not ready for it. My phone is going to overheat with the notifications that pour in the second he steps on the bump. And I don't want it. I prefer this life. I prefer him as a DH only. It's just quieter for me. Am I okay in saying that? Is there anyone else out there that feels this way?
I mean, you said it. Well, you've made it clear that you hate the sorry, I'm putting Yankees Royals on.
Oh, perfect timing.
You made it clear that you hate sick.
Judge Tater.
Whatever.
You were wondering.
Whatever.
You're not watching live.
Whatever. You made it clear that you hate the Dodgers. Let's talk about a team here for a minute that you actually are very fond of. The Boston Red Sox. Roman Anthony getting the call up this week. Getting a call up on Monday.
Was the 700-foot grand slam he hit the final nail in the coffin for them? Or
I think it was. Was it 497? No, not 497.
It was. It was an absolute tater, dude.
Was it?
It was like 470 or something like that. It was like 472,
490. No, it was 497. 150 miles off the bat.
100 and what?
115.
Oh, I thought you were joking. Is it 150?
Basically, no, 115. Yeah, I may as well have been. But yeah, to your point, I genuinely think the organization was holding out for 500, but then they got bullied into calling him up. But very cool moment. Gets the call up. Goes 0 for the first game. I think gets his first RBI in game 1. But then his parents. That's like one of my favorite parts about these call ups is when the turnaround time is so fast for that first game that nobody can get there.
Yeah.
And then like low key, they kind of like suck. Well, then it don't suck, but it's like nothing to write home about. You don't get it. You don't get that first hit. But then everybody rolls into town the next day, and they're like, "All right, now we go." Yeah. And not to mention, he changed his jersey number overnight. Rolled into town with 48 for the first game. And
what is it now?
Second, now it's 19.
Better,
much better.
Not great, but better.
I can roll with 19.
Yeah.
For an outfielder. I mean, that's what. Yeah. No, I'm with it. But very, very cool moment.
I'm biased to 14 and under. It's kind of my threshold. I'll run that up to
which
18,
is weird.
18 and under.
Which is weird because the team that you pull for, you haven't seen anybody actually play with any of those numbers except maybe 3.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your infatuation with these low numbers are.
For me personally,
no,
low numbers are always the GOAT.
That's fair.
Best.
That's fair. But for an outfielder, like a corner outfielder,
yeah. Well, speaking of corner, I saw him boot scoop boogie whiff on one that went all the way to the wall. Was that game one?
Again, I just saw a clip. Game one goes
jitters.
over.
Just
yes. Lets the ball roll right by him, which is fine.
Couple run score.
Yeah.
Was it the difference in the game? Did it matter?
Dude, these games are starting. I've literally just finished up the game tonight. What was that a difference maker in that game?
I'd like to know.
Well, they did lose 8-10, so yeah, gonna go ahead and
could have been a difference.
But it was early. There was still time to bounce back.
Sure.
I'm just trying to give somewhat early. Trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Anyway,
that was with 48. That's why he changed.
That's what I'm saying. The issue I have with it though is that it's already been reported that both him and Marcelo Meyer are not going to get many opportunities against lefties. Which
stop with this, dude. I'm so sick of this.
I'm so over the catering to matchups. I'm of the belief that Major League Baseball is you're not going to be able to solve the equation that is big league baseball. It's an unsolvable equation.
Yes.
But I tell you what, these nerds are trying their darndest
I know.
to get as close as they can, where it's just it goes back to that quote that I've referenced on here before. Like what was it? The Jurassic Park quote, where it's like they spent so much time trying to figure out if they could that they didn't stop to think about whether they should.
Yes.
And it's like, can we platoon every player on the field every day for 162 games of a season? Sure. But who wants to do that? I understand that you're trying to win games. You're trying to maximize efficiency, but can we just put that back? Can we put that genie back in the box and just go back to a time where you roll your best 9 out there and just let them. I mean, you get a sub in here and there, but you just let your guys go out and play. Stop with the platooning. Stop with the third time through the lineup. Stop with the pinch hits in the 5th. Just let them play baseball.
Yeah,
it's the number one prospect in baseball. He's probably going to be pretty good. Just let him play.
That's what I'm saying. Is that I understand if it's a struggling young prospect that's playing a role, and I just don't fully understand when it's like you said, somebody who you're banking on being a superstar, banking on being an everyday guy, and you building your franchise around in a way. I don't. Why immediately create a problem? I just don't get it. By the way, Marcelo Meyer, I don't love the hair. What's with the
pipe down? He had 2 jacks tonight.
Hair's odd.
The pipe down. Stop.
Weird beaver flowy.
He doesn't care.
2012.
He doesn't care about what you have to say about his hair.
I know. But Jazz definitely cares about how you feel about him. So
just like Marcus Stroman. They won't admit it, but they do. Yeah. They do. It eats at them.
Is your next goal in life to get blocked by Jazz?
No, I don't care that much. Marcus Stroman, however, I was on a mission there, and
You're proud of it.
I succeeded.
It's a big accolade.
I mean, again,
there's a long list. I would love to see that list of blocked contacts.
I'm blocked by the Reds.
What is that about?
I think I was like spamming them with replies years ago, and I guess the guy, girl, whoever's running the account just got sick of seeing my face and said no more. So I'm blocked by the Reds, which is weird. I think I might even be blocked by the Brewers.
Was it one of those like day one of doing this?
No, I'm not blocked by the Brewers. Doing what? The pod?
You remember? What were those things where you're like, day one of tagging them until this happens? Day two? Like,
No. I honestly don't even remember, but I know it wasn't that. But for whatever reason, they were just like, yeah, no. So
you did something, and you gave up. I don't remember what it was.
Oh. That was something with Mike Trout. Something with Mike Trout. Day one of something.
Tagging Mike Trout?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look. It went on for like 2-3 weeks, and I was like,
yeah,
all right,
threw in the towel.
This isn't as fun. So I thought it would be.
That is now like a trend on TikTok, by the way. That's like the thing on TikTok, is that like you just like tag. Like I see a lot of accounts that are like, my wife promised me that I can get new golf clubs if Bryson DeChambeau responds. And
going on a flight, won't have internet,
right.
Need 5 brands to comment, but
Yeah.
crap like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? Whatever works, man. Whatever works.
Money's money.
Speaking of money, hold on, gotta find it.
There it is.
First of all, I need to preface the Credit Cannon segment today with a message.
The disclaimer.
With a disclaimer, with a message. I kid you not. So, you know him, you love him, Murray. He sent me a text on Monday night.
Was he playing the pod in the shop again?
As you know, he plays the pod in the shop that he works in. Shout out Murray. You know, like I said, you know him, you love him.
He's a day one.
He's a day one. He's an OG. Texted me Monday night and said, dude, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me telling you this.
I don't think he cares.
But he said, dude, our service department just had a meeting asking the techs not to blast shooting noises or sirens on our speakers. Everyone looked at me and I said, it's a baseball podcast. And I'm like, you know, and look, I know we're laughing and not to make light of it, but like, it also doesn't help the fact that this is going on. He's in LA with like everything that's going on in LA right now. Like, I'm sure that's not helping. So, I mean,
that's exactly
what do we do? Do I still move forward with the Canon, or do I just maybe need to put out a disclaimer each time?
I don't know. Maybe Murray should get some AirPods.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. The fact that our voices are just echoing around this shop,
which is wild, though. Yo, that's sick. Honestly, I like it. And if Murray gets fired, It's for the pod.
Murray can come
for the team.
Murray can come work for us.
Yeah.
But no, let's talk. Just wanted to preface the segment with that note from our good friend. Starting us off here. Should I do it?
Yeah.
Pete Alonso, the National League Player of the Week. He hit 400, had an OPS of 1452, 5 homers and 15 ribbies. I've read and I sort of confirmed myself because I wanted to see it for my own eyes. It looks as though he's tracking for the best season of his career. Should things continue?
Mets should have offered a decent contract when they had the chance. I think Bro's going to get paid, man. He's about to start the All-Star game for the NL too.
All-Star game, which will be at.
Likely in the Home Run Derby as well. Because that's what he lives for.
Because why not?
The Pete Alonso Trophy.
The Peter Alonso Trophy. Coming into today, he's hitting a clean 317 dongs and a 983 OPS, 180 OPS plus. Worthy of a credit cannon. That might be his debut.
Might be first.
Might be his debut. Next up on the list, Jose Ramirez. I'm putting myself in the shop, and like if you just hear this,
that's all it is.
If you hear this, and then the next couple sentences are like, yeah, he's 12 for his last 15 with 6 homers. Like, what is going through your mind if you're hearing this?
Yeah,
Don't recommend, if you do listen to the podcast in public, I recommend putting in those AirPods for the credit cannon segment. Otherwise, you are in fact going to get some looks.
HR is coming to you.
Yeah, if you listen to it on a speaker or you just play it loud from your phone, just consider yourself warned. We're doing what we can to help you out. Keep you from getting fired. But you know who's not going to get fired?
Oh my.
That'll wake you up. It gets the juices going. That's why we love it here. Jose Ramirez coming into today, riding a 36-game, career high 36-game on-base streak. Also bringing with him a 10-game hitting streak. Yeah, in the chat, Jacob said, don't listen in the car. You will swerve. So really, the only place you can listen to this segment is like on a walk.
Peaceful.
Yeah, but then again, if you're like going for a walk in the park and you've got your headphones in, you might think that you're being held up.
It's only certain places.
In the car with the windows rolled up at medium volume.
Not driving.
Yes, not driving. During the hitting streak, he's slashing 405, 488, 676 with 3 homers, 7 runs scored, 5 ribbies, and 5 swipes. During the on-base streak, which, as I mentioned, was 36 games, 388, 452, 626, 7 homers, 18 extra base hits, 18 ribbies, and 14 swipes.
The dude just doesn't have holes in his swing. He doesn't have holes. He doesn't have places to, like, hitters can't attack him. And he's patient. Like, he's unbelievable.
Don't say it. Don't say that he's underrated. We've exhausted that beyond belief. Everyone knows how good Jose Ramirez. And I'm not saying that you're making that case. I'm just getting ahead of it in case you were.
No, I was gonna say that, like, I wish we could go back. I no disrespect to Cleveland.
No disrespect.
But like I wish I would have seen what that guy would have pulled in on the market at that time. I think he would have pulled in a big contract, and I think he would have been in a lot of big postseason matchups that would be historical in my mind. Like, that's kind of how I picture it. I'm not going to say it's a full-on waste, but it's kind of a waste.
I won't go as far as to say it's a waste. Although, no disrespect, of course not. No disrespect. And maybe at one point or another over the life of this podcast that I said it's been a waste, but I'm older now. I'm wiser. If I had said that, maybe I rescinded a little bit. My bigger takeaway is not that it's so much a waste, but that I just would have been curious to see him elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Not in that, like, oh, Cleveland's wasting his career, because like they've made some runs, obviously, but you know, it's just kind of one of those classic like what ifs. Like, if you see,
he's also been in the league for a long time.
Sure,
I think he's
further adding to my point. Like, you know, maybe a little fresh. I mean, at this point, it's not going to happen, but like, you know, a little new face in a new place kind of thing. I don't know.
I'd say like 2014. That's my guess.
Where would be a place, just like off the top, where'd be a place that just kind of randomly you wouldn't mind seeing?
Well, I mean, if we were to go back that far, it's kind of like a 2013. Played 15 games.
Jeez.
It's been in the league 13 years, man.
How old is he, you said? Or did you say?
32. This is age 32 season.
How old was he when he came up?
20.
Holy smokes. J-Ram.
I know.
Been doing it. Where's the place you'd like to see him?
Well, I was going to say it's like, I'm not going to say like to see him, but it was pre Rafi Devers. Like he kind of just looks like a Red Sox. Like, I don't know what it is about him. He's always kind of looked that way. And like as a switch hitter, like you kind of take advantage of that field in a way without being pigeonholed as just a Fenway righty. You know what I mean? Like I think that would have been interesting. I don't know. That's kind of what came to mind right away.
No, it's a good one. Hadn't really considered it. Because to your point, like pre-Rafi Devers, you still like. I still sometimes feel like Rafi Devers has been here for like 3 years. But then you realize
kind of
like
looks like it.
He's been here for
baby
a
face.
minute.
Yeah.
Well, he does. He always looks like he's 12, but sometimes you just forget how long he's been up. Speaking of the Sox, shout out Trevor Story, man. Shout him out. And I know, sure, some bias is playing here because you're going to hear these numbers and you're going to be like, oh, this is what qualifies as credit cannon worthy. Let me explain.
Better hurry up because I'm looking at these stats.
Go ahead. I've got the numbers here. From opening day to stop. Put the phone down.
It's been 4 games.
What are you talking about?
Go ahead.
4 games what?
4 games of good baseball.
Stop. Put it down.
And it ended today. It was over 4 today.
These are always coming into today numbers. You know this. How long have we been doing this?
I know.
Trevor Story. From opening day to the final day of May 31st.
If you take that out.
No, I'm very much including this because it's proving my point here. Let me get to my point. Trevor Story from opening day to May 31st was hitting .216 with 7 home runs, 23 RBIs, and a .585 OPS. He was one of, if not the worst statistical hitter during this stretch of the season.
Okay.
Since June 1st, coming into today, not including today, he's hitting .343 with 2 homers, 11 ribbies, and a .966 OPS. His OPS is over almost 400 points higher comparatively.
Hey, look, I hear you. Nothing wrong with the cannon focusing on the short term. It's the whole point. I understand.
Is that it? Was there more to that, or are you just acknowledging? Okay, fair.
When did he start sucking at short, by the way? When did he start becoming
This
kind
year.
of a liability?
This year, last year, I think he was still above average defensively. But then with the injuries, I think this year was a tough hill to climb.
Yeah.
But for the most part has stayed healthy. He's just sucked. That's the problem.
Cool.
But not since June 1st,
Right.
which is why he's in this segment.
Exactly.
Lastly here, no, not, oh shoot, we got some more here. This was a juicy credit cannon segment today. You know what? I might rescind this pick. Well, I can't because I said this is all about coming into today numbers. I was gonna say Zach Littell.
Your bias is showing.
Zach Littell
Did he get lit up?
coming into the, well, he wasn't sharp tonight. Coming into today, 5-0 of the Tampa Bay Rays, by the way. 5-0 with an ERA of 2.70, 30 strikeouts in 7 starts since May 3rd. Coming into today, 1 walk in his last 4 starts. highlighted
Still didn't have any walks today, so that's fine.
1 walk in his last 5 starts, including today. Highlighted by his start against the Astros on May 31st, where he went all 9, giving up just 3 runs with 6 Ks. What was his final line tonight?
6 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 6 Ks.
Yeah, it's not going to really get it done for the Cannon, but as we talked about, integrity.
Hand up.
I'm not going to change the rules. He deserves the credit, Cannon, for numbers coming into today. His teammate, Drew Rasmussen, coming into today 4-0 with an ERA of .62. That's 0.62 with 24 strikeouts and 5 starts since May 17th. According to OptaStats, he is the first pitcher in American League history to have a 4-start span with a 4-0 record, 0 runs allowed, 10 or fewer hits allowed, and 3 or fewer walks allowed.
All right.
That's a good run.
That is a good run. It's a good run.
On the year, he's got a 2.22 with a whip of sub 1 whip, 0.9.
I bet he gets flipped. Whether the Rays are in the hunt or not, I could see that. Because I think he's got to be close to end of control, yeah? With some injury history. Like, this might be the best time to move him. Like, it may not ever be this high of a value.
I mean, they are a postseason team as of this moment.
I get it. Let's see what that contract is real quick. Yeah, club option next year, 31 years old. I bet he gets moved. I could see him as a Cub, something like that.
I didn't have a note jotted down to mention it, but Sandy Alcantara had a nice little bounce back, I believe, his last start out. So, last 2 starts? I think maybe.
I'm rooting for that. I need that because I'd like to see him elsewhere.
Well, you mentioned Cubs. I think the Cubs have been, and I think we even talked about it actually at one point, where Cubs are possibly in on that. The friggin' Dodgers are going to be in on any of these names.
Yeah, I know.
Well, to be fair, they actually kind of do need it because they got nobody. As we talked about, they have an entire major league team on their IL right now.
Yeah, that's all anyone ever wants to talk about. Every broadcast ever.
All right, I covered the 2 Rays. Lastly here, and it's not even for a statistical job well done. This is a first of its kind. Can we talk about these catches from Denzel Clark?
My word.
Has he, in his short time, has he just inserted himself into the conversation of best defensive center fielder in baseball? I mean, this is crazy.
It's insane. It's insane.
I think he's got what? I think there have been 4.
I know of 3.
3. I thought there was 3 too, but I went back and checked. I think there was actually 4. I think it was May 30th, scaled the wall in against the Jays to rob Alejandro Kirk.
And then there was that full speed sprint
against the O's,
yard sale on the ground after he hit the wall.
June 6th, off the bat of Jorge Mateo, full speed into the wall. That was June 6th. June 9th was the one that I think made waves. We scaled the wall, hung out there for a little bit, made the catch.
Yeah.
Came back down. He was parallel with the wall.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and join the camp that Jenny Kavnar in that broadcast booth is ruining moments at this point. It's not just
our guy, friend of the pod, Dallas, really let it eat.
He did
for that catch.
He did.
Yeah, I think we just leave it there.
Yeah.
I think we just leave it there. Our friend of the pod, Dallas Braden, did a great job in the booth for that call.
Yeah.
I think we just...
I know. I remember a couple episodes ago because we were like, is she gone? Like, because remember the last catch Denzel Clark made where you were like, that wasn't her calling it. I wonder if she's been moved to a new role.
Well, I think we know.
No.
And then I think June 10th as well, going back to that list of 4, I think it was the one that Chanul hit.
I don't know. Yeah. Kid's a stud. Kid's an absolute freak. Fun to watch.
An athletic freak. Close the book here. Just a couple items before we sign off. Matt Chapman to the 10-day IL with the sprained right hand. And then as of today, I think it was reported by the Tigers that Jackson Jobe, who I believe was my Rookie of the Year pick.
Was it?
Let me confirm. I should know this, but I'm like 99% sure.
Dang,
yeah, I had yikes, dude. I had Bubba Chandler and Jack.
Still got time for Bubba. Running low.
Some of these rookie narratives are just I think they've took off.
You get caught up. In I have Jack Caglione, so like I'm feeling like that could.
You beat the buzzer for sure. That was a good call. And I remember texting you before the season. I was like, his ETA is, I think, technically 2027.
And I remember saying, I was like, nah, the kid's raking. Like, he's coming.
Like, he's fine. I think you reeled off some spring training numbers or something. I was like, okay, I got you.
I think he had like a 1,500 OPS in spring training or something.
It was ridiculous.
He's coming.
Spring training or not, that's insane. Like you're still heading off professional arms at the end of the day. But Jackson Jobe.
Maybe they're not professional when you're done with them anymore. You know?
That's true. Yeah, he probably ended some careers, honestly, right then and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jackson Jobe will undergo TJ, so he will be out probably until end of next year, if not 2027. On the year, he was 4-1 with a 4.22 with a whip of 1.49. So
that's tough.
It's a tough loss. He had a few good starts there for the old Motor City Kitties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that nickname personally.
It's not mine. I'm not that creative, but anyway. Anything you got? Oh, any update on your search for a PS2? So we can
I've been looking on OfferUp. I think MVP. I need to start branching out on the search, but I've been looking on OfferUp.
You need to tell Paige to look on Facebook Marketplace.
I just need to steal her phone and do it. But because there's a lot of the old full-sized ones, which I will do.
Those are I have to imagine. I mean, I never had a PS2, but I have to imagine those are still lighter than the OG Xboxes, correct?
Tough to say. Those were big boys. Those were arguably the biggest ones. But I found a couple. I'm just trying. I don't feel like going through the process of like selling mine and meeting up with someone. So I was just like, what if we can I'll give you my PS4 and all my games for your much older PlayStation 2. And like, if you want to resell this, then like
the PS2 is
probably worth more.
Nah, the PS2 I would argue is for. I mean, I'm not a gaming guy. I don't know, but
based on my searches, not really. Plus all the games that I still have.
You said this is a 3 or a 4?
I have a 4. I want a 2.
I think if you had a 3, then we would
3. I'd be out on. 3 is like
very clearly know the answer on what's bringing more value. But 4, it's still.
I found one person that's willing to trade, but he's got the old thicky PlayStation 2. There's a guy that has the PlayStation 2 Slim and all the cords and controllers, and it's like, and memory cards because it's back in those days. It's important.
Boy.
I was like, yo, let's just swap, dude. Like, yours looks great. And he's like, no, cash only. So, yeah, I got to
At the very least,
might have to just sell mine.
it would be helpful if you brought it, because I'm going to be bringing some other gear, and I may not have room for this Xbox.
I got you. Do you think it's worth it if I just get the big boy PlayStation 2?
Do those require memory cards?
Yeah.
I don't know about that life over here in Xbox world.
That's the thing, too, is that this guy has no games. It's just the PlayStation 2.
Well,
so
we get the game
this
is
easy kind of a rip. Like, I'm giving you 15 games in a PlayStation 4. Like, you can resell this for a lot more than whatever you're trying to sell this for. You know what I mean?
If you have no idea what we're talking about, we've decided that we are essentially going to run a World Series worth of games on MVP 05 when we're in Atlanta for the All-Star game. We might even run a couple World Series, dude. I think we're gonna be able to squeeze a lot of games in.
Yeah, we will.
Staying up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Just
I'm not kidding. I will.
Can't wait.
Maybe it's gonna be tough. I'll try.
You're already walking it back. I can already see. You're gonna be out by 8.
My closing thought is: have we talked about like the building submarines thing?
Build submarines?
Yeah.
How it's just everywhere?
What is that?
Is that the point you're making? Is it just everywhere?
Yeah, well, I just saw it at the Royals backstop. And I'm like, what's going on? What are we
Somebody's got to build them.
Are we still using them?
Oh yeah. Well, we won't be able to if nobody builds them. That's why they need to build them.
What are we
buildsubmarines.com.
For what?
Things you don't even want to know.
I don't like the ocean as is. So
let's leave it to the people in the submarines. The least we can do is build them for them. So to answer your question, that's what it's all about.
I just want to know what they're spending on advertising on a yearly basis.
Got to spend money to build submarines, as they say.
That's the saying. That is the saying. All right, that's it. You got to go eat dinner. I got to go eat dinner.
Yeah, it's 10:20, and
Good
I'm gonna go up and sit down at the table and enjoy some dinner. Yep.
Tough. That's on me. That's on me.
Hey, it's all good.
I'll wear it. I'll wear it. All right, guy. Good stuff. You keep up the good work.
Likewise. Everybody have a great rest of your week. I'm always tempted to say have a great weekend. So you know what? I'm just going to say it because tomorrow's Thursday and it's basically Friday, and we all know that Friday
doesn't count.
So happy weekend.
Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all. And as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.